This is the second video for January 18th, January 19th. We're looking at the law of sines. Previous video we looked at just why we need the law of sines and what the law of sines was. Now we're going to see how to use it and how we can use it to help solve certain triangles. Now what I would recommend is start by labeling your triangle. Again, it doesn't really matter how we label it, but I'm going to go ahead and label this big A, big B, big C. Now what we can do is say, hey, because big A is here, little a is here, big B is here, little b is here, big C, little c. Now we can set up an equation. And we need to be careful on how we set it up. Because we were trying to find big A, we're given little a. We don't know any information about C, so we can actually ignore this piece of our law of sines and just use the A's and the B's. Now if we do that with sine of A, well A is X, so we can say sine of X over 22, because little a is 22, equals sine of 42 degrees over 17. Now we can try to solve this equation. If we want to solve this equation, we're trying to get x alone. Well, a lot of ways we could do this. In class we said, hey, sine of x is being divided by 22. We could multiply both sides by 22. If we do that, this 22 and the 22 in our denominator, those would go away. We would have sine x equals 22 times sine of 42 degrees over 17. Now again, we kind of get back to this situation that we had on the front page of the, this guide of notes. We're trying to get x alone. Again, we can't divide just by sine. Here it's sine of 42. We could have divided by sine of 42, but here we have sine of x. How do you get the x alone, or move the sign away from the x? Use arc sine. So x would equal arc sine of all of this. And it's not going to look pretty, but this would be our solution. Or instead of arc sine, you could have had sine inverse. Alright. So that would be our solution. Let's go here. Here we want to solve for x. Again, maybe A, B, C. This would be little b, little a, little c. So we're trying to solve for x again. We have information for A and C. We don't have any information for B. So again, we're going to do the similar thing, just ignore the B's. So this would be sine of x over 6 equals sine of 51 degrees over 9.4. And we can solve this equation in a similar way to multiply both sides by 6. 6 sine of 51 degrees over 9.4, and then arc sine 6 times sine of 51 degrees. All right. Ooh, excuse me. So those would be our solutions. Let me get started on this one, let you try to finish it. Similar thing, right? Label your sides, let's say A, or angles and sides, A, B, C, little a, little c, little b. Now here, we're given little a, but we don't know big A. We have enough information for C. We know big B, we don't know little b. So to actually use the law of sines, it'd be great if we could figure out big A or little b. Excuse me. Well, we know big B and big C, these two angles, and we can actually find big A by using properties we know from geometry. If we add 48 and 61, we would get 109 degrees. But we also know that these three angles added up together should give us 180. So we could do 180 minus 109 to give us 71. So now we know big A is 71 degrees. So now we can use A and C to solve this equation. So we can say sine of 71 degrees over 21 equals sine of 61 degrees, just ignore the B part of the equation, over X. Now I'm going to get you started in the right direction, and then I'm going to give you the solution. What we talked about in class is X is in your denominator. We would like to get it out of our denominator, to get it isolated and get it alone. And the way we can get it out of our denominator, a great strategy would be by multiplying by X. If I multiply this side by X, then it gets it out of the denominator. It goes away. If I multiply it by on X on this side, then it's in our numerator, which is what we want. Now from here, you can use inverse operations, solve it. Unless you try that on your own. If you solve it correctly, what you should end up with is this value. Close, and that would be your solution. I would recommend solving this, working it out on your own. Also, if you want to try these problems, that's fine. It's just continuing using law of sines for solving all of the angles. Finding angle C, finding side C, finding side B. And you can do all of that using the law of sines. I would recommend trying the next four. A few corrections here, and these two, you can try to solve for S. You can try solve for other sides, but just find O. Just find big R here. And then if you want to solve this triangle, you can solve for the missing angle on all the sides. If you have questions, let me know. Bring up questions during the review. I'll be happy to answer those questions.